Hey. It's just very disquieting. And these were like thugs. Like I'm sure they were back. They were thugs. And they just got up and walked out.
That's a good person to have.
Yeah, I was at my booth.
Okay, we're just waiting for Charles to get back, and we're going to begin. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Did anyone get to meet someone? I'm sorry. Oh, we're waiting on Charles.
Okay.
Did anyone meet someone that they didn't know before?
Programs all of the it's like you be a meeting and like whatever.
Okay, from Bible study to nonprofit organization to keepers of the house. I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Harrell. He is our secretary and property manager. Mr. Charles Hampton is our vice president and the house manager. These are our two persons who are going to give testimonies about Table of Saints, their relationship with us.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Praise the Lord. Amen. Okay, Table of the Saints family. Once again, good afternoon, family, partners, and friends. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
First, I would like to take the opportunity to thank God for blessing me with the vision of the ministry known today as Table of the Saints. While incarcerated at Filmer Cheney Center, we started a Bible study, which was then called the Assembly of the Saints. The group grew so large that the guards at the center had become uneasy. So they shut it down, deeming us a security risk. The superintendent, after we petitioned him, chose to let us continue our study. Ain't God good? So then, after individuals began to be released, we wanted to continue our Bible study. So Deacon Stan Quizair offered to facilitate our study for us at Rehoboth Miracle Temple. Now, Rehoboth has a large wooden table in the basement where our Bible studies were held. And it was suggested by one of the early members of Table of the Saints that we should change the name to the Table of the Saints from the Assembly of the Saints. And it stuck because the table was good. During our 8 years of growing pains, we have become a 501c3 with several outreach programs and speaking engagements in the community. Today, with the help of our director, Sharon McMurray, and can we give Sharon a hand for one of her fantastic events. With the help of our director, Sharon McMurray, we have been able to stabilize our organization and maintain the house. Now, we were gifted a house which holds 6 men who were formerly incarcerated or released from treatment programs. I'm not going to get into all that, so now I'm going to turn this over to our house manager, Mr. Charles Hampton. Oh, and I just wanted to share this as well. This was my cellie while I was incarcerated. I had to put up with it for what, 8 years now? So you had to put up with me, huh? Okay. Where's my top page? My top page. Jesus Christ. See? Is it? Yeah. Here we go. Okay.
Who's fooling who?
Okay. Again, we're talking about the family house. The family house came by way of Mr. Bill Lauer, who is the executive director of Friends of Recovery and the Oxford House in Madison. The Oxford House is all about sober living. And when we got into the conversation about it, we was blessed to end up meeting Bill Lauer. And from that point, all of a sudden, a lot of things started to develop. Mr. Bill Lauer was the previous owner of the house. He was working with a close friend by the name of Mr. Larry Kilgore and became owner. In 2014, Mr. Kilgore passed away. But his passion and help for others did not. You see, Bill knew what we were looking for. Bill and Larry both worked for Center for Creative Learning in Milwaukee. They were about helping one find work, mentoring, and just dealing with everyday struggles. Mr. Kilgore also worked for the Truth Project as a counselor, and they also worked in prison reentry as well. That this is what Bill knew, that this is what Table of Saints was all about. Larry's wife, Mrs. Maureen Kilgore, she was looking and hoping to find someone to keep this passion and vision alive. So Bill contacted us to see if we were still looking for that right house. You see, Bill knew, again, it was to say what the Table of Saints was all about and what we were looking for. Mr. Kilgore was also about prison reentry, helping those with special needs. The Booth House seems to be a perfect fit for our family house. Table of Saints and Larry Kilgore's vision were a match. Mr. James Wilborn joined our Bible study in 2010, and soon after he became a strong member, engaging in all our programs throughout the city. He truly had a passion for the word and for prayer. His one way of showing was by calling you 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, asking one particular question: can I pray for you? So at one point, we asked him, would he become our prayer warrior? And he did. And he really took that title to his heart. And believe me, a lot of people really loved that. There were many that had this experience with him. They grew to love him and look forward to that call in the morning. He worked diligently and passionately with us over several years. Mr. Wilborn passed away in 2015, and he will be truly missed, but never forgotten. We truly salute him. Mr. Aaron Boucher became our Christmas present in Christmas of 2015. He was our first tenant and was being discharged from a facility with just 5 days to find a place to live. In the process of his research, he came across our information. He gave us a call, and in 12/25 he moved in. And Aaron became family and started attending all our programs. Need my help again? All right. All our programs, okay. He began to do all our studies and programs. He took care of the house,
very well and became friends with many. Everyone fell in love with him. And did have, now Aaron did have some medical problems, and one was epileptic seizures. He would have them quite often, unfortunately. And Aaron passed away February of 2017. He would be missed, but never forgotten as well. The family house was designed for men in transition, whether in prison, jail, or coming out of any type of institution. Since our opening of the house, there have been 13 individuals that have passed through. Some have stayed a month, 2 weeks, and even only 2 days. That is what TOTS Family House is all about. We have 6 great guys in there now, and even a waiting list. God has also blessed us to work with Miss Reverend Joanne Bauman of Miracle Institute. Because we aren't able to accommodate more than 6 individuals at this time, we have referred several men to the Miracle House. One of the individuals we referred to Miracle House is here to share his experience with Table of the Saints. Here's Josh.
Good afternoon. I met the Table of the Saints about 3 years ago when I was incarcerated at the Summer Training Correctional Center through the MAT program. And in the MAT program, they gave me insight into a lot of things that changed my life. They mentored me through a lot of learning life skills, being there for me to get through some of the spiritual warfare that was going on. Because I go through a lot of that because my faith in the Lord is so deep. But like they said, that they got me into Joanne's house, Sister Joanne, just recently. I'd say about a month and a half ago. And if it weren't for them, I would still be in the guest house, in the shelter. And I called up these guys and these 2 brothers, and they called Joanne and took me there and got me in there right now because I don't have money for a place to live. But through the MAT program, it's very, very important for us individuals that are trying to transition our lives into the community. And with the help of the Table of Saints, it greatly helps us a lot. They give us the skills that we need, the tools that we need to sustain ourselves. To know, in prison you learn about things on TV, but you don't know what's really going on. Like how much food is and just family issues and stuff like that. But we always know that we can count on these guys for a safety net. And it's just really supportive family versus the family for some of us that just doesn't want to be supportive. And these guys take all their time out of their busy schedules to come and talk. They could be in the middle of something and they're there for us. And I'm just very grateful to be with these brothers and then go to the MAT program with them and speak to other brothers. And they're also supporting me right now through my walk as trying to become an ordained pastor. So, and they're help building me up that way. And it's rough, and they just keep my faith very strong. And it's just very grateful for you guys.
Now here to share as well is one of our own house residents at the family house, and this is Mr. Anthony Washington.
Hello, family. How y'all feeling today? Good. I'm glad to be here. I must say it's a blessing to be here before all of you. And the reason why I call you family because I run into a lot of people since I've been out, and they have a habit of always asking about what color you is or what race you in. And I have no problem telling them I'm a part of the human race. And that's where they get confused because we think around racial lines. But one thing about this project and about me and myself, I've learned to respect all people of all different races and nationalities, colors, despite of creed or religion or what have you. You know, the Table of Saints has helped me a long way. You know, I struggled. I did 21 years in prison. But I was in prison, incarcerated for 21 years. And one of the things that I had become is very institutionalized. They take away from all your responsibility. They make you feel like a number more than a person. They clothe you, feed you, and house you. And after many years, you can get to the point where you lose that motivation that you need to survive in society. And they have very little reintegration programs established for people coming out who have done long term, because you do suffer mentally, spiritually, and physically when you're incarcerated for such a long time. You know, but one thing about it is Table of the Saints was there to support me and help me and guide me through my walk back into the world. And it's been a struggle. It's strange because a lot of things are new, like cell phones. I didn't know how to work a cell phone, you know, but things like that. But with the help and the guidance of the men and women who partake in establishing this program, as well as those of you who support it financially, physically, and spiritually, I want to let y'all know that y'all doing a great job, doing a very great job, and it's well respected and well needed in the community, and I hope more people come to support this program, because I'm staying in one of the houses now. It's a sober living place. It's somewhere where I can go when I want to sit back and want to think, read scripture, or just reflect. You know, it's a place that I can call home. I didn't have a place when I came out of prison. I didn't have anywhere to go. I spent my time living in a mission, you know, different places, slept outside sometimes. You know, it was a very hard struggle for me because I have very little family support, you know, but with the help of the Table of the Saints, I've been able to find some direction in my life. They have helped me spiritually by helping me with going weekly to Bible studies and sitting down and studying the Word and learning more about Christ and His sacrifice for my sins, and learning more about what He expects of us, most of all, and trying to walk in His way. He has showed me, if I apply myself, that I can achieve anything I want to achieve. And this is what I love about the Table of Saints. They are like brothers to me. They're people who came in a needing time when I had no one and rescued me. You know, and that reminded me of what Christ said when He said, those who visit me in prison are my brother. And they said, when did we ever visit you in prison? He said, when you visited a believer. You know, so reaching out and touching others and helping others find their way in life is something that we need to do more, because the system is very ratchet when it comes to dealing with re-entry programs. They have a lot of programs in the institution, and they have some working programs outside of it, but they have very few that walk you step by step and make you, help you become an active person in society, you know, and a good person. So with the help of the Table of the Saints, I've been able to achieve most of my goals, and I'm setting new ones and hope to reach them in the future. I thank you all for coming and listening.
Okay. And now, at this time, I would like to turn this program back over to our leader, who has truly taken the time and has truly been a blessing. She's taken the time to shape us, to mold us, and has given us a brand today. so much when we need it. She's worked real hard in Brandon through serious trainings that she's given us and teachings today. We are truly blessed to have her today. And one of the things about it I can say is that she's truly been a blessing to even put up with us too. Okay? We're something else. She's even given us a nickname, okay? But we'll deal with that at another time. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Sharon McMurray.
Give the guys another hand. I'd like to also mention the residents that could not be here because, yay, they're working. So we have Brandon, we have Jeff, we have Bill, and I'm missing somebody there. I'm missing one person. But anyway, they're working, so they're not here. So we're grateful for that. Eli. Okay. We are now ready to honor our two special people. Our first award, the Joseph W. Ellwanger Award, is very dear to us, very dear to William and Charles, because very dear to William and Charles because they met them on their journey home to the community, and they latched on to him and just held him as a great mentor and someone who they love. He's finally called by us Pastor Joe. I'm going to read you more about him, but we chose him. This is our humanitarian award, and we chose it to name it after Pastor Joe because this is the person that William and Charles most thought helped them get to where they are. Joseph Ellwanger is a Lutheran Christian clergyman. He served at an African American congregation in Birmingham, Alabama, St. Paul Lutheran, from 1958 to 1967. Under his leadership, the congregation grew from 30 to 300 members. It was during this time that he became involved in the civil rights movement of the 1960s, and he participated in demonstrations led by Dr. King in Birmingham in 1963 and in Selma in 1965. Reverend Ellwanger's legacy continues in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He was influential in the formation of Project Return in 1980, a prison reentry ministry, which grew out of the social ministry committee at Cross Lutheran. And he led Cross Church to become a sanctuary congregation in 1983. The church also housed the beginning of the Hunger Task Force of Greater Milwaukee. He helped to launch a congregation-based interfaith justice organization in Milwaukee, MICA, Milwaukee Inner City Congregations Allied for Hope. 3 years ago, we presented Pastor Joe with the award with his name. Today, he will present the award with his name to our honoree, Mr. Ed D. St. Paul.
Thank you, Sharon. And it is humbling and an honor to be here to do the job I've been asked to do. First of all, it's humbling and an honor just to be with the friends, the members of Table of the Saints and supporters of the Table of the Saints, people who really get it in terms of both the difficulty that reentry presents, but also get it in terms of recognizing that something ought to be done, and something can be done, and something should be done, side with us. And everyone who is here today is among that kind of person. And it's good to be with. It's humbling and it's honorable and honoring to be a part of this kind of group of folks. And I hope that not only did you have a good dinner, but that this was a time when you encouraged each other to keep on keeping on in doing justice. Secondly, I am honored and humbled just to be asked by the Table of the Saints to present an award with my name on it. I see myself as one of all of you. I see myself as someone who is walking with William and Charles and all of the men and women in Table of the Saints. And to have an award with my name on it is definitely humbling. But it's a recognition that the Table of the Saints is a very special group, and they are, you all, not they are, but you all, Table of the Saints members, are part of a vanguard that's extremely important in the history of our country at this point. We as a nation are finally beginning to recognize that holding the award as a nation, of being the nation with the highest rate of incarceration, is something to be ashamed of, not something to be proud of, and it is something that people of conscience need to do something about. And that's exactly what Table of the Saints is engaged in. One of the really small but important miracles that happened when Charles and William and I talked, and we began our relationship and began walking together several years back, is that they recognized that they have some gifts to give to this city and this state and this country, and they need to use them to help bring about some change in the system. And that's where they began to see the connection between their faith in the gospel, having a connection with doing justice for the common good of all and building the beloved community that Dr. King talked about. And so they became a part of Micah. They became an organization that really became engaged in making some of the change that our nation needs at this point. And so you're at the vanguard of a movement that is not, with God's help and God's grace, not going to be squelched, but is going to grow and grow and grow, and we are going to see the prison system, the incarceration system, the judicial correctional system changed for the good, and keep up the good work, keep on growing, and you recognize that when you get me up behind the microphone, I keep going. I am humbled and honored, however. Thirdly, I am getting to the point for which you asked me to come. And that is that I am humbled and honored to make the Joseph W. Ellwanger Award to none other than a friend and a cohort of mine, Ed de St. Alban, who has done some amazing things. And not a whole lot of people recognize that, and so I'm glad the Table of the Saints is doing that today. First of all, Ed de St. Alban, a professor at Marquette University, professor of psychology, is determined that Marquette University is going to be engaged in making positive change for this city, this state, and this nation, and he refuses to give up. And that sets him aside from professors who teach courses and do what they're expected to do and help a lot of individuals along the way, but do not see the connection between the very things that they teach and what's needed and what ought to be done out there in the world in which we live. So, Professor Ed de St. Alban is someone who is walking the journey with Table of the Saints, with formerly incarcerated persons. This is what makes him authentic and real. What he has done especially for Table of the Saints, and I think this is a big spark for this award, but not the only one. But it was Ed de St. Alban who saw to it that students at Marquette University came and spent hours painting the walls at the family house, getting that place in shape so that it could actually become a transitional living place for persons coming out of prison, persons coming out of treatment. And that is what you call doing something and doing justice in a very real way. And then Professor Ed de St. Alban is a member of the board. This is where I've really gotten to know him especially well, of Project Return, which is a reentry ministry and program in Milwaukee, and again indicates that Professor Ed de St. Alban did not just get a few students to do some work on some Saturdays, but he's walking a long walk, and that's what makes it for real. So it's my pleasure, and I am honored to present the Joseph W. Ellwanger Award to Professor Ed de St. Alban.
Thank you. You don't put ministers or professors behind the podium. But I will be shorter than Joe. He deserves more time. Thank you all so much. It's my name on this plaque, but everybody here who does social justice work knows it's really a collective, right? There is no one person who's making the change. It's lots of folks doing lots of things together. And it was interesting when Sharon was talking and said that for Charles and William, Joe really helped them become who they are and where they are. I very much feel that way about Charles and William. I mean, not only are they very entertaining, it's like an old bickering couple, but I've known them, I don't know, 9-8 years as fellow board members on Project Return, and they just inspire me every time. I mean, the things that they're doing, the dedication that they give, have made me a much better person. So I kind of feel like they're my mentors in a lot of ways in terms of community engagement. The table I'm at today has mostly students, current and former, and I learn so much from them every day, and they work with me in these activities. My daughter inspires me all the time as well. So, I am honored. I love getting this. I love that it's a Joe Ellwanger Award because he is, frankly, a hero of mine. But, I think it should say Ed de St. Alban and collective, because it really is a group of people who work together and do good things in this city that has amazing potential, but also has a lot of sickness. And we need to work on some of the inequities that are out there. There's a lot of social justice work to do, so I'm delighted that so many folks in this room are doing that. So thank you once again.
Pastor Joe.
While they're taking pictures, can all the students kind of stand up? All your students in here? All your the interns stand up.
All right. That preacher was really something, wasn't he? our 2017 Transformational Generosity Campaign. This award is given to Michael Duffy. On your tables, their bios. Did you notice that their bios were on your table? So Mike Duffy is a professor of theology degree. He has a professor of theology degree in religious studies. And he taught at Marquette University. He retired in January of 2015. Keep watch over yourselves and all the flock of which the Holy Spirit has made you overseers. Be shepherds of the church of God, which he bought with his own blood. Philanthropic generosity of time, talent, and treasure as a servant leader. The call to action. Mike has done that for us. We love Mike. Mike illuminates our house at Christmas time. We've got so many Christmas lights. And it's the brightest house on the lot. And that's Mike's purpose. He wants it to be bright and shiny. He did the painting with so much love. He takes care with so much love, and it shows in his spirit. He's always joking. He doesn't take me serious. Because when I told him he was getting the award, he thought it was a joke. But we want him to know that we do take you serious, okay? And we take your generosity serious. So we, the board of directors of the Table of Saints, honors Michael Duffy with our 2017 Transformational Generosity Award.
Thank you, Sharon and the board. I want to just tell you how I got involved. The little things that sort of shape our path. I went to a talk that William gave on prison reform, and as I left, in the back of the room there was a table. It said, "Would you like to help us paint?" And I thought, well, I'm recently retired, so sure. Well, it was the tip of the iceberg. Before we could paint, William and Charles and Sharon know how much work there was. But it was a wonderful experience. You get to know people even better when you're painting a wall with them. William and Charles and Sharon are a wonderful trio. William, and I don't think you would know this unless you actually saw it, William happily picks up residents of the house on Sunday mornings if they'd like to go to church. Charles is amazing for his willingness to give up his time driving people to the doctor and meeting other needs. Yet they don't coddle anybody. They showed me the 40 rules of the house before anybody moved in, and I said, guys, you don't think they're going to really do all these things. Your room must be kept neat. But you know, I think they did teach people who may have never had the experience of having such a nice home to keep it nice. So they've been wonderful, all of them. Well, who can say enough about Sharon? She keeps us in line. She taught us how to actually make an agenda for a meeting when we all forgot. Right, Charles? So it's been such a joy to be part of this organization. Man, do they persevere. You know, when we find out you need a new heater, water heater, a new front porch, you need to get bids, you know, they kept doing the work. If you ever need any kind of rehab in your own house, I recommend William, because he can do a lot with a little, I'll tell you. And a great job too, he's good with a hammer. Charles learned landlord law. Not an easy thing. No. So the last thing I'll mention, well, no, first, two real quick requests. Now that the inside of the house is very nice, this is the summer we paint the outside of the house. So you know where this is going, right? If you have a Saturday, you're certainly invited to join us. It'll be fun. Secondly, there's also a program that gets a lot of support from Table of the Saints, and it's a program that we do in a number of prisons and the House of Corrections here, called Well on Your Way, to help men and women begin to prepare for this, this very difficult and often fearful transition out. So if you'd ever be interested in going in with us once a week for an hour, we'd love to have you. Because I think it's, the more people they meet from the outside world, and the more they realize that people care for them out here, I think it's very beneficial. My last quick remark is to say that one day at a House committee meeting, I had the brainstorm to say, why don't we change the name of the organization to Table of the Sinners? Because it was kind of hard to tell people I was a member of this committee. It just sounded so, how could I be claiming to be a saint? But William immediately said, no, we're not changing the name. But then he had an important, I think, religious point to make. He said, remember, a saint is just a sinner who got back up. Thank you very much. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we have Senator Lena Taylor's office representing her, who wanted to share in our honoring our honorees.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Donna Shepherd, and I am Senator Taylor's Chief of Staff. She sends her apologies. She was away this weekend at a conference, and so she could not make this event. But I know you know that Table of the Saints is dear and near to her heart. And actually, one of the reasons the senator ran for office is because of the issues around reentry and just justice for all. And so I wanted to say that, Table of the Saints is the quiet storm. We know about you, but you make a difference, and that's the storm that you bring with you. So thank you for that. We also wanted to recognize Table of the Saints for continuing to do this event. One of the things that we know is when people re-enter, they need services, support wrapped around them to be successful. And you have done that. And you have a track record of doing that. You have great volunteers. So sign me up to paint the house. I'm bringing the crew from Senator Taylor's office.
I just wanted to say, Ms. Sharon, we love you so much. We appreciate you, Mr. Charles and Mr. William as well, just for the great work that you do in the community. We have so much to say, but in the interest of time, we won't do that to you.
Okay.
Because Mr. Elwanger took up all of our time. For Ms. Sharon and everyone.
Okay. So if you don't know what citation does, it is a document from the state of Wisconsin, and it puts you in the history of the state of Wisconsin. So This is a big deal. On behalf of the Wisconsin State Senate, by the motion of Senator Lena C. Taylor, and the state of Wisconsin hereby recognizes the Table of the Saints as they host their annual Founders Day event. We commend you for your commitment and your dedication to the community. And as you host this event, we wish you well in future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, what you want to do? It's your show, Ms. Iman, whatever you want to do.
Are those guys speaking no more?
No.
Okay.
Then maybe our guests are.
Okay, I need you guys to move over a little bit. And come off the wall, please. Okay, then now, come on, wait. Come on. All right, we good now?
Think so.
Okay, you're looking good. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Again. Let me look. Just sink in. Last one. Face on his eyes. All right, thank you.
Number 2, I'd like to say good afternoon to everyone. My name is Lynette Austin. I am the Community Outreach Liaison for Senator Lena Taylor's office. And we have 2 citations from Mr. DCA Alvin and from Mr. Duffy. So if the 2 of you would like to step forward as well. Because when it's all over, volunteerism is the most important thing that we should always have within ourselves to do for others. I'm only going to read the second and the last, okay? Mr. Michael Duffy is an extraordinary, gifted listener, intensely reflects, and provides enlightening and innovative perspectives and ideas. It is for this reason that he has been chosen to receive the Table of the Saints Transformational Generosity Award. On behalf of the State of Wisconsin Senate, on the motion of Senator Lena Taylor, and the State of Wisconsin does hereby congratulate Michael Duffy, PhD, Professor of Theology and Religious Studies from Marquette University, as he receives the annual Transformation Generosity Awards of the 2017 Table of the Saints Annual Founders Day event and fundraiser for his dedication and commitment to this community. And then number 2, Table of the Saints seeks to honor Ed D. St. Aubin, Professor of Psychology, volunteer leader from Marquette University with the annual Joseph W. L. Wanger Award, in honor that it exemplifies humanitarianism, social justice, and critical social problem solving. And on behalf of the State of Wisconsin, by the motion of Senator Lena C. Taylor, and the State of Wisconsin does hereby recognize and congratulate Dr. Ed D. St. Aubin, recipient of the 2017 Joseph W. L. Wanger Award from the Table of Saints at their annual Founders Day event and fundraiser for his dedication and commitment to the community. Whatever you want to do, however you want to do it.
Okay,
Tell us
one
what
of
it
you
be.
guys need for on this side, and
Okay, same place.
okay, ready? On 3, 1, 2, 3. Again. And last one. Thank you.
So Mike Murphy, you did it, see? You spoke about it, and look what happened.
Right.
But I'm very nice. Okay, we got it all.
Okay, we're almost down to the end. On today, June 25th, 2017, the state of Table of the Saints Incorporated, we are determined, we are pushing forward, we hold strong to our faith, and we will continue in this work. Our vision for the future: building a strong and more engaged board of directors that is passionate about our mission and vision. To retain a part-time office staff person as a paid position. To be able to concentrate more on the organization and expanding our outreach in the community. To form an advisory council of professionals in mental health, family crisis, criminal law, and crisis intervention. To have quarterly public discussions in the design of a listening circle on the blind side of recovery. We have our 2 questions ready for August. What is recovery? Do you believe one can be successful in recovery? Why or why not? We seek to expand our offering of housing to those nonviolent ex-offenders returning to the community and their families. We want each of you to find your place in your passion in our work. We thank you for coming today. Today is also a fundraiser, and we want you to be mindful that William and Charles will be standing out there with an envelope that gives you the opportunity to contribute your time or your money, both, if you think you know what we need. If you can't give us money, we appreciate your time. It's very valuable to us as far as our house goes. I want to thank our returning partners, sustainers, and friends as follows: Marquette University, Terry and Frank Sherman, St. Louis Parish Council, Our Savior's Lutheran Church, Plymouth UCC, Project Return, Leon Williamson Funeral Home, Herb Cole Philanthropies, McMurray Enterprises, Sharon McMurray, William Harrell, Charles Hampton, Stanley Quazair, Armida Kilgore. Our new partners: St. Matthew CME Steward Board, Castech Companies, the Josh Fund, Reverend Joseph H. Jackson Jr., Mr. and Mrs. Wendell Huskisher. Our donors of goods and services: Deborah Dupka, Ophelia Carter, Our Savior's Lutheran, Plymouth UCC Flowers and Garden, Milwaukee Public Schools, Marquette University, St. Matthew CME. With us today we have one of our partners, Leon and Mary Williamson, and their staff, Cassandra. Can you stand, please? Frank and Terry Sherman were here earlier, but they had to leave because they had to pick up their daughter. We have today Judge Patricia Gordon. And we have the representatives from Senator Lita Taylor's office. Although he couldn't be here with us today, I wanted you to know that State Representative David Crowley did sponsor a table for us. So I thank you today. We have a few more minutes to be sociable. If you didn't meet somebody, you still have time to meet somebody. We thank you for coming.